In this session, we'll try to understand the next operators in Java, that is increment and decrement operators. Increment and decrement operators are very useful, especially when you run loops. The increment operator will increment the variable value by 1 and the decrement operator decrements the variable value by 1. So the increment and decrement operators can be used in two different flavors. One is pre-increment and post-increment, and second is pre-decrement and post-decrement. So let us understand this practically.
Hey, thanks for watching our content so far. If you're new to Training Mark, we're the fastest growing technology training company and create content to help freshers like you to master the disruptive technologies like full stack development, AML, cloud, DevOps, etc. If you like the content so far, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon not to miss any new content from us. Like and share this video with all your friends. Let's build your career and the community together.
To demonstrate this, let me take a new Java class and call this as increment decrement operator, and let me create my main method. First, let us understand the syntax of increment operator. So we use two plus symbols to represent the increment operator. So by default, increment operator increments the variable value by 1. So suppose if you have a variable value 10, so when you apply increment operator, the value is going to be 11. So this we can use it in two different flavors. So first one is pre-increment. So meaning if we use two plus symbols before the variable, it is called pre-increment. And second one is post-increment. So means if you use two plus symbols next to the variable or after the variable, it is called as post-increment. So both of them will increment the variable value by 1. But there is a difference. When you're using pre-increment, it first increments the variable value and then use it in the operation. When you use post-increment, it first uses a variable in the operation, then it increments. So there is a slight difference. So let us understand this with an example. Suppose I have a number and which I'm initializing it with 50. Okay. So now when I'm printing this, okay. So now if I print number, it is going to give me 50. And let us first see pre-increment. So when I say pre-increment here, I will use two plus symbols here, right? So typically how you'll use pre-increment is before the variable, we'll use two plus symbols. So what we are doing here is we are pre-increment the variable and then we are printing that. Means the Java will first increment this variable. So the number will become 51 and then it will print. So in this case, whenever I run this, so now I'm going to get the output as 51. So now here we see 51. But what is post-increment? Means the same operation, I'm just doing it using number plus plus. So this will post-increment. What does it say? Hey, first you use number in the operation. What is the operation? You're printing it. So it will print number, then it will increment. So in this case, the output is going to be 50. But after this, the number value will become 51. But during this operation, number will be 50 only. That is what post-increment. We're saying that you first use the variable in the operation, then you increment it. That's the reason this prints 50, not 51. So that is what is a slight difference. So you have to understand whether pre or post. So the same thing will happen when you are using the pre-decrement and post-decrement, right? So now here we call it as decrement operator. So the decrement operator decrements the variable value by 1. Okay. So now again you have two flavors. The first one is pre-decrement. Okay. So here we use 2 minus with a variable. And next you have is post-decrement. So this is first you use variable, then you use 2 minus symbols, right? So now how it is going to work? So now I'm now taking the same number to I'm initializing it to 100 now at this moment. Okay. So now I'm using sout minus number. So means we are saying that, hey, you first pre-decrement the variable. Means the 100 will now become 99 and then will be printed. So when I run this, so you're going to get 99 here. That is pre-decrement. Because if we comment this and sout, I'll use number minus means post decrement. First it will use number in the operation, then it will decrement. So when I run this, then you're going to get here 100 only, because it will use number in the operation, then it will increment. So after this operation, whether it is pre or post, the value is going to be 99 only. Okay. But let us take that with another example. Suppose I have, I'm just taking number 2. Okay. Now number 2 here I have, right? So now number 2 is equals to, now let us say I'll take this as 1000, right? So now if I do number plus, okay, this I'm incrementing it, right? Now if I print this number, now what is the value I'll get? This is post increment, but at this operation we're not doing anything. We're just saying, hey, you do post increment. So this will increment the variable value by 1. After this, the number will become 1001. So now here, when I run this code, you're going to get 1001 here. Sorry, it is number 2. Right? I'll save it. So the number 2 is 1000 here. And what are we doing here? Number 2 plus. So we are post incrementing number 2. So means it will first use this number 2 and then increment. So during this instruction, number 2 value is 1000 only. But after completion of this instruction, number 2 will be incremented. So it will become 1001. So whenever you run this, so now you'll get 1001. Okay. Suppose instead of this one, if I do pre-increment, means plus number 2. So in this case, what actually happens? So you're pre-incrementing it. So during this instruction, it will become 1001. And when you print number 2, here also it will give 1001. So the only difference lies whether you're using the value in the instruction or not. During the value in the instruction, pre and post will have a drastic difference. Okay. Now, let us understand this with one more complicated example. Suppose I have integer a, comma b, where I'm saying a is equal to 10, okay, b is equals to 20, right? Now, I'm not going to say integer result is equal to, now I'll say a plus minus b plus b plus b. I'm just performing some arithmetic operation just to explore how pre and then post will work. And now I'm doing minus a, pre-decrement, then plus a. Okay. Guys, pause this video for a minute and try to understand how a plus or the pre-increment, post-increment of a and pre-decrement and post-decrement of a. And try to identify yourself what would be the value of a result. Okay. Now let us say sout result. Now, what is the value that it is going to be? Instead of just running the code first, let us try understanding. Now the a value is 10. So when I say a plus, now what actually happens here? During, okay, let me put it in comments. So this is post increment, means we are telling that you put a in the operation first. So here it won't put 11, it will put 10 only. Okay, then it will increment a to 11. So now the a value will become 11 after this operation. So now it will do a minus or 10 minus, right? So this is post increment. Now then pre-decrement, we're saying that, hey, b value is 20. You pre-decrement and then use that in the operation. So 20 will become 19 and then will be used in this operation. So it is 19. Then when I say plus, now here we are saying b plus means what? Post increment. The value of p is 19 now. And I'm saying post increment. So 19 will be used in the program and then it will become 20 again, right? So now plus, when I say plus b, now this is 20 now. We're pre-incrementing. So p value will become 21 now, right? So now the a value is 19, right? A value is 10, 11, after this incrementation now, and B value is now 21 at this moment, right? So when I say minus, now minus minus A is 11 now, we are pre-decrementing it, so it will become 10 now, right? So then plus A value is 10, now it will be incremented to 11. So like that, these operations will be used. So this is what is basically the thing is, like plus, this will be get cancelled, this one get cancelled, and 21 plus 11 is going to be 32. So this is what is result is going to be. So let me run this to see what is the value that we'll get. Now if you can see 21 plus 11, 32. So we got 32 as our output. So you guys can experiment in understanding how pre and post will work, right? So increment and then decrement operators are very helpful, especially whenever you're running loops, which you'll see practically whenever we talk about loops.